Hi everyone, how are you today? Have you been all out shopping? Have your parents dragged you to Primark and places like that? I sincerely hope not. Okay, usual business. Pretend, I'm just checking I've got my cards the right way up. Pretend we're in the hall. I've said gather logs and you're all around me in a circle. So, build a dam. Lovely. Give me a B. Give me an E. Give me an A. Give me a V. Give me an E. Give me an R. Give me an S. And what do we got? And what do we have? Oops. And what do we make? Very good. Okie dokie. Right. This evening, you are going to make yourself, hopefully, if you've got your bottle and your barbecue skewers or something similar, you're going to make yourself a bird feeder. This is part of your world challenge, making something for animals, to help animals. It might be easier to hang it from its neck, but we'll get to that bit. And so that's what it's going to look like when you're finished. But to do it, you need your empty bottle with its lid. I'm going to put the lid on for now, because I'm not actually going to fill mine this evening, because it's best with the funnel. So you need your empty bottle with a lid. You need 2 barbecue skewers or something similar. It does help if they've got pointed ends, but they don't have to have. I think the instructions on the internet, so you could use pencils if you wanted, or dowel rods, something that's obviously going to make the perch for the birds to sit on or to land on. They're going to land on your, where are we? We're going to land on here and then feed in the hole that you've made there. Okay, so you need those, and you need a piece of string or a piece of wire or something to hang it with. I'm using one of my Scooby-Doo things, which is, even this is difficult to thread in the way that they tell you to do it. So if you're going to thread through, then something like this, something with a bit of strength and stiffness, like a wire or one of those cable tie things or something like that. And to help you do all of that, you need something sharp, like a drawing pin. This works very well, the drawing pin. And then either a small pair of scissors that's got a thin end, or a very small screwdriver maybe. This actually is a gavel type one. But if you've got a small Phillips screwdriver, but they do have to be small, because otherwise you make your holes too big and your perch posts won't be steady. Okay, so assuming you've got all of that. Oh, hi Callum. Assuming you've got all of that, we'll make a start. So towards the bottom of your bottle, use your drawing pin just to make one little hole in the thinnest bit. Is the best idea. Let's put this down so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Makes a tiny hole in there. Put that somewhere safe. You're not going to jab yourself. And then you get your little screwdriver or the thin end of your scissors, but they do have to be very thin scissors. I think these are probably too thick. And then you just push your other little pointy thing in to make a little hole. I know you can't see that very well, but it'll be obvious. And then quite obviously on the other side, on the opposite side, you do exactly the same thing. Push your drawing pin in to make a little hole. Don't try to push your pointy thing in or the end of the small scissors in first, because it'll slip and slide everywhere and you'll hurt yourself. So make your little hole with the drawing pin and push the other one through. And then, very obviously, your stick goes through. There we go. And that's your first perch. Okay. It will vary obviously, how easy this is on how thick how sturdy a bottle you've got. This is actually quite a sturdy water bottle. So it takes a bit of pushing. Whereas some of the thinner bottles, you'll make a hole in more easily. Okay. So that's your first perch. And then to make your second perch, you're going to do exactly the same thing, and just a little higher up and in the opposite direction. So it crosses over in effect. If you can see on my already made one. The first one goes through there and the next one goes across the middle of the bottle, but in the opposite direction. Okay, so this one is too high, to be honest with you. Your second perch, whoops, I'm dropping seeds everywhere now. Your second perch needs to be surprisingly close to the other one. I'm going to put mine one bar down. So once again, drawing pin first, and then into that hole, twist. It's a lot easier to twist and push rather than just push, and a lot safer, to be honest with you. That's that one. Twist and push. And then this skewer, I've noticed, is a bit thin, so I'm not quite sure. It's kind of half a skewer, really. I didn't notice that when I got it out of the bag. So you're going to end up with a bottle with your two perches going across right through the middle of the bottle in opposite directions. Okay. Let me know when you've got that far, and please don't spike yourself in the process. Okay, now on the internet instructions, it tells you to just make a few air holes in the bottom with your drawing pin. They mustn't be big. Sorry, I'm holding it up and I don't need to be. They mustn't be big because otherwise the seed will fall out when you fill it up. Oh, that doesn't want to go. But apparently it needs a bit of drainage and a bit of air. I can't get that in anymore, so I'm going to leave that. I've managed a couple. I'm just denting the bottom of my bottle, so that's... Okay, how are we doing, folks? Have we got the equipment? You can see I'm losing. This is the trouble once you filled it out. The holes you make for the birds to feed from means you lose the seeds. Done that? Brilliant. Well done, Callum. I think you're the only one on the chat at the minute, so we'll have to just go with you. Okay, so you've got that one. Now then, in exactly the same way, in the sense of making the holes, about 2 or 3 centimetres above your perch. This is a bit trickier, this, but you're going to make the first hole in exactly the same way. You're going to use your drawing pin to make the little hole. And then you're going to use your next piece of equipment to make the bigger hole. And then you are going to get, if your scissors were too big, now is where your scissors come in. And you're going to use those closed up to start with to make an even bigger hole. Give them a good twist, take them up as far as you can. Once you've made that hole, you might find it easier to take your stick out. In fact, you could make them on both sides first. Maybe that's the idea. So make quite a large, I can't, oh yeah, there we go. Can you see that's quite a reasonable sized hole? It's not big enough for the birds to feed from yet, but it'll get your scissors in to cut a window out. So do that on both sides, a few centimetres above above your stick. Drawing pin first. Bigger hole. Even bigger hole. Now you might find it easier now to take that stick out, because the next thing you're doing is cutting from that bigger hole, not the stick hole, the big one you made. You're just cutting a little circle round so that the birds can actually get to the seed, because it's no good them landing on your lovely perch if there isn't a hole in the bottle to actually get at the seed. It doesn't have to be neat particularly, and it doesn't want to be too big because you'll lose seed out of it when you fill it up. Well, that will do that anyway. Right, so can I get that? There we go. Can you see? Not really. Just look, you can see the other hole through the other side. Just a reasonable little hole that will be above the perch so that the birds, when they've landed, can peck some seeds out. So do that both sides. Oops. And then when you put your perch back in, let's get the angle of this right. There you go. Can you see there? So the bird will land on here and they can peck in the hole to get the seeds out. Okay? So that's what you're after on both perches. So again, on the next perch up, little hole, slightly bigger hole, even bigger hole, and then I'm going to do that on the other side, and then I'm going to take when I've got the hole in the right place. Oh no, I'm forgetting my drawing pin, and it does make a big difference. Drawing pin, bigger hole, even bigger hole, and then take that one out because it just gets in the way when you're making a hole, and then cut your feeding hole. As I say, they don't have to be big because they've only got to get their beaks in. And you will find, I'm afraid, that if they do come and use this, as they get their beaks in, they spread seed all over the garden. So you'll find wildflowers growing all over the place because the birds have scattered them whilst they're feeding. Okay. Right, let's put that back in. There. So you've got this side, a perch and a hole, and a perch and a hole, and then on the next level up, a perch and a hole, and a perch and a hole. Okay? And again, let me know when you've managed that. It's a bit more fiddly, the cutting, and some of those plastic edges can be sharp, so do be careful. I'm just going to put a bit of plastic in my bird feeder. That's not very sensible, is it? Shake that out. Not that they're going to get down to the bottom there. Okay. Now then, this, to my mind, how are we doing, Callum? Are we there? Can I move on? Or are you still fighting with your bottle and scissors? It is quite difficult, that bit. This is all part of your world challenge, I think. I'm sure it's your My World. Making something for animals in the garden. They suggest a bird box or a fat ball or something, and I suddenly thought, oh, sure, we can do a bird feeder. Okay, so the next bit is to make the hang on a minute, let's bring the one I made earlier in, and I'll have to put the camera up a bit for this bit. There we go. Possibly come, oh, no, maybe not. There we go. The next bit is to put your string or wire or whatever to hang it on your tree outside. Now, the way they say to, as you can see, this is threaded through the bottle and hanging, and it does hang very easily. But threading, you'd never thread string through. I had trouble getting this thicker plastic string through. Fishing line might do it if any of you fish, or any of your dads fish. But a fishing line might do it, depending on how thick it is. But if you're going to do it this way, it does have to be something with a bit of strength to it, so you can push it through. But I'll show you it this way, and then you can decide whether to just tie, because the other option would simply be to tie your string around the neck of the bottle and hang it up that way, which isn't, I think, as you can tell, isn't quite as straight. It won't hang as straight. But then you might have some very clever parents who could work out how to do that more straight. Because if you had two bits, you could tie each one on separately and then hold them up. But anyway, we'll do it the way they say on the internet first. So, which is exactly the same method. You've just cut out. Well done, Callum. Brilliant. So let's try the same method, and you can decide whether to hang it from the neck of the bottle if it doesn't work. So same thing, small hole, bigger hole, and on the opposite side, small hole, bigger hole. You could, if you wanted, to make it easier to thread, do the next one up on an even bigger hole and see how it goes. And then you're meant to thread your cord or string or whatever it is across and through, which for my plastic, quite thick stuff, is not too difficult. But string may not do it. And then just tie over at the end, and I'm not sure what they call it. I'm not sure if it's an official knot, to be honest with you, but hold the two together and then do an ordinary thumb like we learnt, and that holds the two together. And then it will hang beautifully on a tree or your washing line, if you have a washing line, or I don't know, the fence pillar. No, it needs to swing somewhere, but anyway, I'm sure you can find somewhere in your garden to hang it. And then obviously the next thing you do is fill it up with seed. I'm not going to do that here because I will get seed everywhere. It would be very sensible to use a funnel if you've got one. And if you haven't got a funnel, I always forget something, don't I? Hang on a minute, let me get the piece of paper. If you haven't got an actual funnel, there we go, let's get, then get quite a nice thick piece of card and just roll it into funnel shape such that it fits in your bottle like that. There we go. And then pour your seed in through your funnel like that, because otherwise you will get seed everywhere. Once you've filled it, you will have to be very careful, because obviously if you swing it around and tip it up a lot, you have to carry it very carefully once you've filled it, because otherwise the seed will fall out of the holes that you've made for the birds to actually get to it. And then of course you put your cap on and you have a bird feeder for your garden. And you also have, if you send me a picture of it, a tick on your World Challenge badge. Some of you, I think, that will be a last tick, because I know that doing something for nature is often the last one we do. We'd normally have gone off to Hainault Forest and done pond dipping or something, I don't know. So, as I say, I've filled one earlier. I'm going to be very gentle with it, because otherwise the seeds will fall everywhere. But there you go. You can see I haven't filled it right up. That's just as an example to the first hole. So the birds will land on here and they can access in this little hole or access in that hole. And it doesn't matter. You can fill it right to the top and they'll just peck from where they can and it'll come down and down and down. So I hope that works and you get some birds in. It might take a while. It might take them a few days or a week to realise it's there and come. So send me a photo as usual. If you can manage to send me a photo with a bird on it, that would be even better. That would be fan-dabby-doozy. But either way around, send me a photo and I will tick you off on that particular bit of your World Challenge. Okay, guys? You done, Callum? Or is threading it fiddly? No doubt I shall see. At some point I shall get a photo of it and I'll see what you've managed to use. My Scooby-Doo strings are absolutely fantastic. They're brilliant for all sorts of things. Okay, that's it for today. Short and sweet this time, very quick. Yes, we just need to get some bird feed. Yeah, sorry about that. I got a huge tub of it, sadly, but I can't send it through the internet to you. Lovely. Thanks for joining us. Have a good time, guys. Hope you get some birds in the garden. Stay safe, and I will see you next week. GOODBYE. Goodbye.